Drama free life is the real wealth. Do you know what drama is? Drama is not shouting. Drama is not conflict. Drama is not argument. Drama is inner turbulence. It is the constant commentary, the silent comparisons, the rehearsed conversations in your head, the imaginary victories, the imaginary defeats. Drama is when your mind refuses to sit still. Most people think wealth is money. Money can buy comfort, it cannot buy silence. You can own 10 houses and still replay a single insult from 2018. That is poverty. You can have a modest life and sleep like a child. That is wealth. Understand this deeply. Drama is the tax you pay for ego. The more identity you carry, I must be respected, I must be seen, I must not be left out, I must win, I must matter. The more drama you invite. And the tragedy, most people are addicted to drama. They call it passion, they call it ambition, they call it social life, they call it love. But look carefully, remove the turbulence. What remains? Space, clarity, energy. When there is no inner noise, you think better, you decide better, you act cleaner, you recover faster. A drama free life is not boring, it is powerful. Because your energy is no longer leaking into proving, defending, replaying, impressing, resenting, chasing validation. Imagine two men. One earns 10 crore but cannot sleep without checking who liked his post. Another earns modestly but wakes up clear, moves through the day untouched, and sleeps peacefully. Who's wealthy? Real wealth is not accumulation. Real wealth is non disturbance. When nothing outside can hijack your inner state, you have something kings cannot buy. Drama free life does not mean isolation, it means no internal storms. You can attend events, you can build companies, you can love, you can compete, but without inner agitation. That is rare, that is wealth. And once you taste it, no applause will seduce you again. When there is no inner noise, you think better, you decide better, you act cleaner, you recover faster. A drama free life is not boring, it is powerful. Because your energy is no longer leaking into proving, defending, replaying, impressing, resenting, chasing validation. See it in yourself. When there is inner noise, what is happening? Your mind is running background programs like a phone with 27 apps open. You think you are making decisions, but half your energy is being consumed by what will they think? Did I look foolish? I should have said that differently. Next time I'll show him. I hope they noticed. This is leakage. Let us examine each one slowly. Proving. When you are trying to prove something, you are not acting from clarity. You are acting from insufficiency. You work harder not because the work demands it, but because your identity demands applause. This makes your decisions distorted. You take risks to look bold. You speak to sound intelligent. You pose to appear relevant. Energy wasted. When proving drops, action becomes precise. You do what is required, not what will be admired. That is power. Defending. If you are constantly defending, your nervous system is on guard. You interpret neutral events as threats. A comment becomes disrespect. Silence becomes rejection. Feedback becomes attack. Defensiveness clouds perception. When there is no inner noise, you can hear criticism without collapsing. You can be wrong without shrinking. Recovery becomes instant because nothing inside is fragile. Replaying. Replaying is silent torture. You relive old conversations, old embarrassments, old victories. The mind feeds on it. But while you are replaying yesterday, you are not present for today. Cognitive bandwidth gets eaten alive. When replaying stops, your attention sharpens. You think cleaner because you are not split between past and present. Impressing. Impressing is exhausting. Every word becomes performance. Every action becomes branding. You do not choose clothes. You curate perception. You do not speak truth. You manage optics. This fragmentation destroys authenticity. When impressing ends, you move lighter. You speak directly. You act naturally. There is no calculation. That is freedom. Resenting. Resentment is carrying unpaid emotional debt. It occupies space in the mind. You think you are moving forward, but half your mental RAM is occupied by they wronged me, they didn't support me, they don't deserve it. When resentment dissolves, energy returns, clarity returns. You recover faster from setbacks because you are not dragging history behind you, chasing validation. This is the most subtle addiction. Validation is a drug. Every notification, every compliment, every nod of approval, it conditions you. Soon you do not act because it is right. You act because it will be seen. Your decision making becomes externally guided. When validation loses its grip, your compass turns inward. You decide faster, you act cleaner, you recover quicker because your worth is no longer fluctuating with reactions. Now understand this carefully. A drama free life is not the absence of events, it is the absence of internal friction, and friction consumes energy. When that friction drops, your thinking becomes sharp, your decisions become surgical, your actions become efficient, your recovery becomes rapid. Why? Because there is no ego to bruise, no image to repair, no past to replay, no audience to impress. Energy conserved becomes power, and most people never taste this. They think power is domination. Real power is inner non disturbance. That is why a drama free life is wealth, because energy, undivided and undisturbed, is the rarest currency on earth. Don't bargain. If you are saying, should I take the temporary joy or the drama free life? You have already assumed there are two real things to choose between. That is the illusion. You believe event is joy, absence of event is missing out, crowd is aliveness, silence is sacrifice. But look carefully. The temporary joy you speak of, what is it really? It is a spike, a body reaction, a chemical rush, a validation loop. You enter a room, people laugh, someone approves, your nervous system lights up. You call that joy. But notice something, the spike always carries its shadow. After the noise comes depletion, after the laughter comes comparison, after the belonging comes insecurity. The same circle that gives you a high will eventually give you a drama. You are not choosing between temporary joy versus drama free life. You are choosing between noise that includes pleasure and pain versus silence that includes neither intoxication nor chaos. And here is what most people never see. The fear of missing out is not about the event, it is about identity. You fear, if I am not there, who am I? If I am not included, what does that say about me? If I am not visible, do I matter? That is the real transaction. You are not trading events, you are trading ego stimulation. Now, let me show you something deeper. The mind that seeks temporary joy is the same mind that cannot tolerate stillness. And the mind that cannot tolerate stillness will always manufacture drama, even if you sit alone in a monastery. So, the question is not, is drama free life better? The question is, have I seen through the need for a stimulation? If you are choosing silence because it is superior, you are still chasing identity. If you are choosing peace to feel wiser, you are still in the game. But if noise no longer intoxicates you, if crowds no longer seduce you, if you see that excitement is merely agitation labeled as pleasure, then you do not trade anything. You simply outgrow it. Understand this carefully. A quiet mind is not the opposite of a loud circle. A quiet mind can walk through noise untouched. Real wealth is not avoiding chaos. Real wealth is being unmoved by it. The one who avoids the crowd because he fears losing peace is still fragile. The one who enters the crowd and remains untouched, he is free. Temporary joy is not wrong. Trauma-free life is not superior. What matters is, are you reacting or are you clear? When clarity comes, you will not say, I'd rather protect my peace. There will simply be nothing to protect. And then, whether you sit alone under a tree or laugh with the 10 friends at midnight, there is no trade-off. Because there is no inner disturbance to begin with. So, you thought you were choosing between excitement and peace. You weren't. You are choosing between agitation and clarity. The world sells stimulation and calls it life. It sells chaos and calls it passion. It sells validation and calls it connection. But look closely. Every spike has a crash. Every crowd has comparison. Every performance has pressure, and slowly, without noticing, your energy leaks. A drama free life is not withdrawal, it is not isolation, it is not dullness, it is the absence of inner disturbance. When there is no proving, no defending, no replaying, no impressing, no resenting, no chasing, your energy consolidates, your mind sharpens, your decisions simplify, your actions become clean, your recovery becomes instant. That is power. Real wealth is not what you accumulate, it is what no longer disturbs you. And when nothing inside you is easily hijacked, you don't need to protect your peace. You are peace. That is the mic drop. That is the freedom. That is the wealth.